We're live. Welcome. Hi. It's been a while. I thought today we could do another what I eat in a day video because you seem to like those and I like filming them. It's been a couple weeks, maybe a month. Whoops. How are you? I personally have been trying to take more control of the health in my life. I feel like I spent my 20s kind of just like eating whatever I wanted as long as it was vegan. I'd never really paid attention to my macros or like what I was getting or what I wasn't. But I'm in my late 30s now and my hormones are changing and there's all kinds of wonderful things that happen to women in their late 30s. So I'm trying to pay more attention. And one of the things I'm trying to do is eat more protein dense meals. So I thought I'd share with you a high protein meal day. Let's start with breakfast. All right, so I mean, if you've been here for a while, you know that generally I'm not a big breakfast person. I kind of eat breakfast as a lunch and eat later on in the day, and I'm like a late into the night eater, which isn't great. So I'm trying to eat breakfast. It takes me a while to wake up, and when I eat and I don't feel like I'm fully awake or I haven't been awake for a few hours, it kind of makes me nauseous. I don't know why. So smoothies are always good, as much as I'm like, not a smoothie girl. It just kind of helps. I have been enjoying high protein smoothies. I like to use soy milk because it's high in protein. And I also found this Silk like protein yogurt. So generally speaking, plant-based yogurt doesn't have a ton of protein in it that I found anyway. But this one does. It has 12 grams of protein, which is pretty cool. I'm gonna just make like a coffee type smoothie. I love the taste of coffee, but I can't handle caffeine. So I like to use decaf. So I have 2 shots of decaf espresso that I'm gonna throw in here. And my breakfast smoothie kind of like changes depending on my mood. But today I'm craving like something coffee flavored. I have some peanut butter. This is just the normal, like just nuts peanut butter. I like my peanut butter a bit sweeter, so I've mixed it with agave and put it back into the jar. So that's why it looks weird and dry. Great on warm toast though. Hazelnut butter is also really nice. Any sort of nut butter, add some protein to it. My Complement protein powder. I love the unflavored because you can make it taste like whatever you want. 1, 2. A lot of times people like to throw a frozen banana in at this point, but I don't like banana in my smoothies. I find banana is overpowering and makes everything taste like banana. So I'm not gonna do that. Depending on how sweet it is, I might add some agave, but we'll see. And a little bit of sweetness. Oh, that was a lot. All right, you can also add some ice in there, but I don't know, it's kind of cold here. And then it's just too cold, and then I'm cold. So it's more like, I don't know, like a cool coffee, I guess. So nice and thick too. Definitely don't need a banana. But hey, if you like banana, you can add that. Yeah, along with my like morning routine that I talked about a couple videos back, having a breakfast does set me up to not eat as late into the night and also keeps my blood sugar level pretty stable so I don't get hangry and chew my boyfriend's head off. All right. I've got some work to do, so I'll see you at lunch. So I'm having a little after breakfast matcha. Thank you so much to Pique Teas for sponsoring today's video. As a lot of you guys know, I stopped drinking coffee a long time ago because it kind of heightened my anxiety and gave me the jitters. So with my ADHD medication, the two together was just not a thing that I was doing anymore. So I switched to matcha, and I recently tried out the new Pique Sun Goddess Matcha, and I love it. It comes in these little packets so that you can just kind of like pour it, shake it. They dissolve really easily in both hot and cold water, which is great. For those mornings when you really don't feel like doing the whole tea ritual, this has been very, very helpful. Also great to take with me, like if I'm traveling, I love packing these in my carry-on for when I'm at like the airport or to keep in my hotel room. What I'm loving about the Sun Goddess Matcha is that it has more l-theanine, which promotes calm and gives me sustained energy without the jitters. Anyone that's caffeine sensitive knows about caffeine crashes and how it can cause stress and anxiety, so I know I'm not the only one out there. but they do that by shading it 35% more, which I thought was a cool thing. It also contains powerful skin ingredients like antioxidants that firm, brighten, and clarify the skin, especially with our Canadian winters. I find that the central heating is so drying in here, so my skin is just so thirsty no matter how much moisturizer I put on. And speaking of hydration, I have also incorporated the Pique BT Fountain Beauty Electrolyte. I've been working out a lot more. I find that as I get a bit older, I do have to work out a bit more and I have to be a bit more active than when I was a bit younger. So, you know, you gotta hydrate after you sweat. And these have been great to keep on hand and like take to the gym or for a walk. Along with tasting really great, it also has hyaluronic acid and ceramides in it, which hydrates on a cellular level to keep my skin soft and supple, which is necessary with the winter. The ceramides are clinically proven to reduce fine lines and wrinkles, so I know that I'm getting the purest ingredients for maximum benefits. If you've been curious to try Pique Tea and their products, there's no better time than now because for a limited time while supplies last, they are having a Black Friday sale. Until November 24th, they're having 20% off their entire website. So there is definitely no better time than now, and I think the products are great. So thank you so much to Pique Tea for sponsoring today's video. Welcome to lunchtime. I'm cleaning out my fridge. It is like end of the week fridge status, and there are some things that need to be eaten. So the main key things are some greens, some beans. I have a little bit of this Impossible left, some roasted garlic from something I made the other night, and like a little bit of red onion. With all of this, I think I'm gonna try making like a roasted garlic and miso white bean dip, and then like chop up a bunch of onion and parsley and maybe chili crisp and make like almost like a crunchy topping for it. So I don't really know what I'm doing, but come along for the ride. We can go on this journey together. Let's start with the bean dip and then we'll figure out the rest after that. All right, I think I'm gonna start with the garlic, roasted garlic, yummy, yummy. Maybe a couple tablespoons of olive oil just for creaminess. We're gonna need more oil. We'll use some of this olive oil. Lemon juice, I'm gonna do like a tablespoon. It's about 1 lemon. A little bit of salt. We will start with that. I'm gonna do roughly like a tablespoon of the miso. Just gonna eyeball it. The beans. We'll see what this tastes like with how simple it is and if we need to add more. Then we will add more. I have some aquafaba from the can, so I'm just gonna add that to help it along a little bit. And then I'm just gonna save whatever I don't use and put it in an ice cube tray to use for like baking or something. Oh, that just broke. Okay. That's what happens when you drop your things all of the time. Olive oil. I use a lot of it, clearly. Hopefully this still works. Oh, for fuck's sake. Oh, that's like broken now. The flavor is perfect, really good. Definitely needs to be like creamier. But before I stand here and hold it closed so it can continue to do what it needs to do, I'm gonna cook the Impossible first. I changed my mind, I'm gonna chop the parsley first. I have some parsley, I haven't washed it yet. If you do not have a salad spinner, get a salad spinner. I wash all of my vegetables with a salad spinner. It's the best. The more moisture you take out of vegetables that you've washed before you put it in the fridge, the better. So I find this is just the best way. See, look at all that water. I'm just going to use whatever's left here. Chili crisp, olive oil. That's pretty. Okay, let's cook up this Impossible. I have these 2 pieces of naan also in my fridge left over from the other night. I think I'm gonna toast them and make them into little naan chips. I'm just gonna toss these in oil and then put them on a baking sheet and just bake them for a few minutes. I'm going to kind of dress this like a hummus bowl. I'm gonna add this topping. A little bit of this. I feel like it needs some more color, so I'm gonna add a couple of tomatoes too. Lovely. I have this like lemon salt, so I'm going to add a little bit of that on the tomatoes, some pepper, and some lemon zest. Okay, lunchtime. When it comes to lunch, I'm not really much of a like structured lunch eater. Like I like a good like sandwich or something like this that's more like fun to eat and that I can pick at. Oh, I knew it was gonna be good, but this is really good. Yeah, that's freaking delicious. Wow. So we've got some protein from the Impossible, and then we've got protein from the beans. This is really good. Not that I'm surprised. I'm gonna go eat this, and I'll see you in a couple hours. I've become a bit more diligent about food waste. I mean, I've always really cared about food waste, but now more than ever, I'm like really trying to get creative with things I have in my fridge. So we are in a cost of living crisis here in Canada. Love that. So things that I have on hand, I try to like figure out a way to throw them into a recipe. Sometimes it's really weird and sometimes, I mean, it's always delicious, but sometimes it's a bit on the strange side and other times it's not. But I have these Edgy ramen packets, and they are high protein plant-based ramen. This one's the spicy red miso and it has 21 grams of protein per serving. So that's a good base for a high protein dinner. I have corn that's in my freezer to add to like the broth to like make it more my own so I'm not just eating dry ramen out of the packet. I'm going to make like a spicy sesame broth that's like creamy, which I'm going to use just like some chili garlic oil, some tahini, and then in my fridge I have some spinach that needs to get used up, some soft tofu from dinner that I made the other night, and edamame, also high in protein. So with this, I mean, you've seen me make ramen all kinds of ways. This is just essentially the way I normally make it, just with some tweaks. I like to make ramen kind of like a weird way where I cook the noodles first and take them out. After that, I'll take this like cooking liquid and I'll measure out like a cup of it, a little more than a cup, and then I'll get rid of this. And then I'll add it back. So at this point, I add everything else. So we've got the corn, and I'm just gonna use all of this because spinach wilts down to next to nothing anyway. So it's really easy to like pack a ton in there to get your like fiber and your proteins. So obviously you can do this all in the same pot. I just have a weird thing with presentation. I like it, it makes me happy. Okay, for the broth, I'm going to use the soup stock that comes with the Edgy ramen. Because I like a lot of broth, I'm making more broth than they suggest to make on the package. So I'm going to add this Maggi seasoning, which is essentially MSG. And I don't want to hear about MSG in the comment section. It's not bad for you and it's delicious because umami is the best flavor in the world. I'm adding a tablespoon and a bit of tahini just to add some extra protein and because it's delicious and creamy. Soy milk, again, more protein. Then for a bit of heat and flavor, garlic chili oil. So good, perfect. This is like a third of a pack of soft tofu. I'm just gonna throw it in like this directly into the broth to warm it up. Oh, oh no, whoops. All right, I'm gonna let that warm up as I clean up my mess. Sometimes I like to make like a sauce for my edamame, but I'm kind of lazy, so we're just gonna salt it. Got some flake salt and a little bit of seasoning salt. Sesame seeds just on the top, as well as some chili crisps. This is such a go-to for me. It's just like easy and comforting. And it's cold here in Toronto now. So good. It just brings me comfort every time. Like, I never get sick of this. I have pretty bad ADHD, and so I tend to like have my like go-to comfort foods that I know are always going to hit. So ramen is always in the rotation of that. And just like it hits so good. I'm gonna go eat this. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you so much again to Pique for sponsoring today's video. Make sure you check out the link in my description box down below to take advantage of their big Black Friday blowout sale, 20% off the entire site while supplies last. Let me know if you have a favorite favorite like comfort food or go-to like high protein meal that you really like. I am always looking for new ideas. Okay, bye.